It's a mixture of indignation and outrage, I would say, stemming from what Benjamin Netanyahu said about the original charge brought by South Africa to the ICJ, calling that false and outrageous. And he sees this latest move by the ICJ in pretty much the same vein. There are many who regard who are casting aspersions, I should say, on the presiding judge who comes from Lebanon, and others who are saying, well, look, it doesn't really apply to us in any case, because this ruling by the ICJ court applies in the eventuality, in the case, if there's a threat to the destruction, partial or otherwise, of the population, the Palestinian population of Rafah. And given that there is no threat, Israel is saying, of either partial or otherwise extermination of the population of Rafah, this clearly doesn't apply to them. Many would dispute that, but the Israelis are saying in their defense here that they've evacuated the vast majority of the population of Rafah, somewhere close on 1 million people, so that although there's heavy fighting going on in the eastern part of Rafah, central Rafah is now pretty much a ghost city. Only in western Rafah, where people have in part at least evacuated to, is the city still crowded. And Israel saying that it is doing this in compliance with the demands made on it by the international community, by the ICJ, and of course by the United States. But as for their intentions going forward, no doubt about it, from Netanyahu to Benny Gantz, who's in the war cabinet, everybody is saying the same thing. We will carry on with this operation in Rafah regardless.
And Rob, they have been carrying on today with airstrikes in Rafah. What more do we know about the situation there?
They have indeed. Within hours of the ruling by the ICJ court, the Israeli Defense Forces were bombing Rafah from the air, hitting houses, hitting roads, hitting infrastructure. There was fighting continuously in the eastern parts of Rafah. Israeli tanks apparently approaching close to the center of the city. And as I said a moment or two ago, the bulk of the population, close on 1 million, have fled either to the west of Rafah or to the camps that have been set up along the coast and in Khan Yunis by the Israelis. Meantime, the road crossing at Rafah into Egypt is closed down. Israel is pressing along that Philadelphia corridor that runs along the border between Gaza and Egypt, has got about halfway. So the fighting is going on pretty much non-stop. Israel has somewhere in the region of 9 brigades in Gaza in total at the moment. That's the most for 2 months. And there's fighting going on in the north as well, the Jabalia refugee camp. So at this stage, there's absolutely no indication from the Israeli side, despite the pressure from the international community, in particular the court, but also from the United States, for them to curtail their operations.